Hey, what's going on, guys? So my name is Ipe. I've been making money on the internet for the last 8 years. I generate lead generation. I do lead generation to small businesses, and we also sell a high ticket coaching program. So I've done high ticket on the phones sales for 2 years as well. So I've plenty of sales experience. Also, obviously selling to small businesses. And Jordan Belfort is one person that I learned a lot from. And today I'm going to react to one of his videos, Jordan Belfort selling live.
Certainty around China. Yeah. Hello.
Hey, how are you, Jordan Belfort?
Pete Hunt.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks for taking the meeting.
Thanks for coming in.
Great. Having a good day?
So far, so good.
Yeah.
So, one thing to keep in mind is in-person selling is a lot different than phone selling, but Jordan says it all the time on the phones. Like, people are going to read your tonality. On face to face, people are going to read your body language. So already Jordan's kind of sitting back. He looks relaxed. He's smiling, making eye contact. These are very, very crucial. But on the phones, you can't show that body language, right? But you still want to assume these kind of body postures, which is going to influence your tonality of your voice, and your prospect on the other line of the phone, they're going to sense that. They want to know immediately right away that you're a confident, certain person.
So far, so good. Sorry to do this. I've only got about 20 minutes, but hopefully we get to the common things.
Perfect. So real quick, I guess the way I usually work is I kind of want to know about you, your company, what kind of challenges you're facing right now, what's right in your business, what's wrong in your business, and based on that, what we do here at LMK is we kind of tailor make our strategies to directly suit our clients' needs. We have 3 areas of excellence we focus on. Capital markets, hedging strategies, commodities hedging, finance for your business. B, investment banking, meaning if you're looking to go public, raise any money for specific projects, both foreign and domestic. And lastly, of course, asset management, your land, your trucks, and trying to...
So, right away, he's like qualifying, right? Just real quick, this is what our company does. First, I want to even make sure you're going to even be a good fit for us, qualifying the prospect, not being desperate, hey, we just take any and every client. We want to make sure you're going to be a right fit. So this creates positioning as a salesperson and makes the prospect kind of warm up to you faster, because the prospect is now trying to get your validation that they are a right fit for you, basically.
Maximize your value there, but again, that's just broad areas. I look to each client kind of as a unique situation and try to kind of tailor that in. So if you had to say one thing right now in your business that was kind of giving you the most problem, what would it be? In terms of growth, stopping you from growing as fast as you could.
It's probably uncertainty around China. We're a business that's
Solutions 8 is my plug-in to that network and resource.
some experience in Singapore and Hong Kong.
Right, different markets.
China, China's really unknown to us.
Right.
And that does keep me awake at night a little bit.
In the sense of that, obviously, to fill the demand, you have to kind of...
So pretty obvious, sales 101. The first half of the call, you want to ask all the questions to make sure what is their biggest problem. And the deeper you can get into their emotions, the better. You don't sell the product, right? You sell what they want. What kind of big life issues are they trying to solve? And you try to get to the bottom of that.
Grow a certain amount of, or produce a certain amount of crop, and then, or milk, and then you're not sure.
Because if our product was able to solve this in your business for you, what would that mean for your life? Well, it could be, higher profit margins. I could spend more time with family. I could have more sense of peace, sense of control. The more personal you can get with the end goal of what they want, the better you are as a salesperson, because in sales, you're trying to make a logical case why they should buy your product, but you're also trying to make an emotional case.
They're going to buy or not. So there's an issue of a overproduction versus making sure they're going to buy at the end of the day. Is that what it is?
Well, yeah, there's that, and I guess the question over setting up facilities in China, whether we go down that path or whether we can continue to do it out of Australia. I believe we do need to set up some facilities in China, but that requires capital.
You have nothing there right now at all?
No.
Okay. And have you investigated opening up anything at all in China right now, or just really in the early stages of it?
Oh no, look, it's been something I've been meaning to talk to my banker about. We've kind of discussed around the edges before, but we haven't really talked about it in depth.
Right. Let me ask you a question. I was doing some more research on the industry, and one of the things that stuck out is that, in fact, there's still a massive growth potential for you here domestically in Australia, right? You're really scratching the surface domestically. You have a good market share, but obviously the market's growing here pretty much 15-16% a year. There's still so you're also kind of building the current market share as well?
Absolutely. We've certainly got strong customer relationships here in Australia. I think there's a lot of opportunities for growth here.
Right.
I think we've got a unique opportunity in China because of our accreditation standards, and
right.
the Chinese are very...
Which is not easy to get.
No, I think we might be the only Australian company that has it. Right. So, we could go very comfortably just focusing on Australia, and that might be might be the best path. I'm not sure, but the China opportunity just is dangling out there, I guess.
Right. It's kind of like I do, not just obviously in the organics. I mean, in pretty much every business is high tech, low tech, and everyone's kind of China's like this kind of there's 900.
This is more of a B2B kind of sales situation, so Jordan has to kind of express his competency by using business talk and business lingo to express to the prospect that he is an expert and he knows what he's talking about. So that's a lot of what's going on here. When it comes to more of a B2C sales, you really want to do the same, like express your authority and expertise, but also you really want to get to know that prospects personally, on a more personal level. You want to begin to understand what kind of life issues they're dealing with and how would your product and service benefit their life, their family's life, and all of those kind of things.
I'm gorilla in every conversation. The idea, I think it's the question, the challenge everyone faces, we know we got to go there. There's a massive market there, but how do we get there in a way which is basically risk averse, but allows us to kind of test the waters, and if we hit it, to kind of expand quickly and capitalize.
Yeah, you're right. And the risk thing for us is really important. I mean, while we've got some ambitious plans, we don't want to take on too much risk.
Right. No, makes sense.
The angle you also, as a professional doing B2B sales, is that first we can do this one thing and make it successful, but the mental frame is you're going to be with us long term. I used to say to my small business clients all the time on the calls is like, hey, like first lead gen site, like we're going to prove ourselves to you, but that's just the beginning. We're going to build more and more lead gen sites and help you dominate the market. So it's like you want to create the long term vision for your client that like I am going to be your go-to guy, and I'm going to not only help you succeed with this one project, but multiple projects for years and years to come. And if you're talking to a hungry business owner that wants to scale and expand, they don't hear marketers like that too often. So they're going to get excited because A players want to work with other A players.
In terms of you, where do you fit in with the company? In terms of what's your kind of division of responsibilities? Do you manage the entire company, or how does it work?
Yeah, so I'm a major shareholder of the company, and I manage the operations day to day. So I'm very hands-on on the operational side of the company. And
how about the brothers, the guys those are the two?
One of my brothers is quite involved, but probably not quite as involved as I am. He looks after some more of the marketing and sales elements.
Right.
And then my father still has
So what he's doing here, these are important questions to ask. Again, you want to ask if they have business partners, what other people are involved, because sometimes people can give you the objection, hey, I need to talk to my business owner, I need to talk to XYZ, I need to talk to my wife to try to give you an objection to like not make a decision that day. So you always want to ask, hey, is there business partners involved? Is there this person involved? And if you're on the phones and they say, hey, this XYZ business partner is involved, and I'd be like, is there any way we can get that person on the phone right now so we can go through this together? Things like that. But ideally, this is you want those decision makers like present at the initial call. Maybe if there's other business partners involved, you have to make a mental note that you have to potentially prepare yourself to do a secondary call.
Active role in an advisory sense, and a minor shareholder, and but it's mainly operationally run by myself.
Got it. How about the actual? Do you have a CFO that reports to you, or
look, we have a business manager, and he looks after all the finances, like the accounting and that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. So I guess he's like a CFO.
Right. So now you're basically fully integrated in the sense that your own farms, right? You're actually growing this stuff.
Yep.
Processing it and then shipping it out.
That's right.
Just China or distributing domestically.
Yep.
And would your plan be if you were going to in China? Let's look at China for a second. Because I personally think that's a massive market. I'm a big believer in the Chinese story going forward. Okay. So would you be looking to develop the products here and then ship in there raw and process them in China, or actually have land in China and grow them in China?
The hard thing with organic products, especially in the dairy industry, is that because we can't use as many preservatives, it's harder to keep them longer. They perish a bit quicker. So we have a disadvantage, I guess, if we don't. I believe if we don't move some of our facilities to China, and we'd certainly be able to get fresher products, and we are about fresh products by having some facilities over there. But then there's, we're not familiar with that land. It'll take a bit of time to get up the experience curve over there. So there are some natural advantages to being there, but there's also some disadvantages.
Right. Let me ask you a question. Have you guys considered actually trying to partner up with someone to purchase an existing small producer of organics in China and kind of then use your technology? This way you have sort of a stable foothold already there and then grow their business versus trying to start from scratch at all?
Look, I've certainly played with the idea. Very cautious about it, just because we're a family business, build a lot on trust. Organics companies don't tend to collaborate all that well. They tend to kind of keep a lot of their secrets to themselves. But I mean, I'm not close to the idea, but I just have some reservations.
I mean, the reason I say it is because, one of the things that we do, we specialize in is, we're as a global merchant banker. We have strategic alliances all over the world, and especially in China.
Yeah.
So one of the things we could do is actually introduce you to kind of various people along every element of the supply chain, whether it's simply purchasing an organic, concern, or simply, getting you.
This is kind of like expressing your value. Hey, let me find out more about your business. We can do this. There's other opportunities here. We have a network of people that can help you.
Touch with the right people for trucking, right people for any part of production. And
this is going to be very, very customized and different based on what you're selling, what your company does.
Of course, distribution. So
but the idea is, as a salesperson, you should be an expert at all aspects of the business. You can't just sell the product, right? You have to sell, every aspect of what your company does, and you have to also sell the reputation of your company, that your company has a history of producing results and success. These are all things that's weighing in the prospect's mind, and through your storytelling, or through your initial through the call or through the meeting, you have to express that.
To help you there, just to kind of put you in touch with the right people operationally, if that would help you kind of make a decision, at least give you more of a knowledge base of what really you need to do to get yourself into China without kind of stumbling and falling on your face.
Look, I mean, networks like that will obviously be useful.
Right.
This idea of getting into a partnership with another company, I'm not sure. I mean, is that the sort of thing you think?
No, I mean, listen, here's what I do. I'm a believer in what you weigh all your options, right? I totally get that, there's a certain culture that made you guys what you are, right? And one of the great risks about China is it's a very different culture. Okay, so there's two issues that you face when you go to China. Number one, okay, you have to say, well, is my culture going to play well in that country? Because some people just work here, don't work well in China, right? The other thing is, yes, my culture in fact will work well in China, but there's some sort of disconnect between the way you think you're saying it to them and the way they're perceiving it. So it's important, whatever you do, what I would recommend, whether you want to control every last ounce of the supply chain, you need to have local Chinese people there who know the market, who know the people, who know the kind of the social demeanor there, to make sure that the message that has been so successful here in Australia gets out in China. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, it does. I mean, what do you think would be some of the cultural barriers for a business like mine moving into China?
I think that number one, it used to be that China had this whole big, the sage white man. We want to know what the white man is doing. That was a big thing that when they felt like they were behind. Now there's been almost a tip where they feel like they're the emerging dominant power, and almost like they are the wise ones and they know it all. So yet they, in truth, know, of course.
You have to, as a salesperson, bring up in the prospect's mind, into their consciousness, the issues, the fears that they have, the problems that they have in their brain. And sometimes they're not even aware of some of these fears that they have. But you have to bring it up as an expert salesperson. So what Jordan Belfort's doing here is understanding that it sounds like this man or this company runs like a farm, more of an organic produce. And these people tend to be from more blue collar regions of United States. They're not as globalized, right? They're kind of cut off from the outside world in a sense, because they're from small towns of US. And so the fear that they're going to, some of the fears that they're going to have is they don't know the culture of China, or they don't know they don't know the culture or how businesses work in other countries. And so this is the unknown that they have, right? And that's part of their fear, their uncertainty. And so Jordan is bringing that fear and uncertainty up in the prospect's mind and saying, hey, we can be the solution for that.
Of course, they don't know everything, right? So there's a sort of cultural gap of you being able to educate them, but at the same time,
everything that Jordan is doing is has a purpose to it. That's one thing to great to break down and understand what he's doing every step of the sales process.
Making them think it's their own idea, it's giving them the facts so they come to the conclusion you want them to come to in the first place. And it doesn't happen so much. It doesn't do much with production or marketing. Okay, and as you guys know, you're not just producers, you're marketers. Okay, so you have kind of both elements of that equation wrapped up. Now, again, obviously, I'm a banker. I'm not in the organic food business, but one thing I do know is there are certain core distinctions that run through every industry, whether it's your industry, whether it's computers, whether you're selling automobiles. Okay, so what we try to do, again, we have a client like you. We don't look at things, hey, they're organic. That's a separate. It's something sort of global. Like for instance, Mary, Don, right? One of the things we did for Mary, we were able to save her a tremendous amount of money domestically and overseas on our commodities hedging, okay, and on some of our currency swaps that she was doing. And the ways we did that is because we understand there are certain peculiarities in our industry, but at the same time, there are also some commonalities that apply to all industries. So we're able to come up with a model that directly suited her needs, that would address just simple, not exact simple concerns in the sense that she produces too, a little different in a different industry, but she's producing, not sure what she's going to sell. So it's important that she actually has access to her supply chain, but it's not doesn't end up stuck with 2 months of inventory, right? And which is even worse for you because it's perishable, right? But I guess you need to kind of ultra just in time inventory strategies, right? To drive yourself to market. So I think for you, if I like, listen, I know over the long term we can do a lot of stuff for you, but I think I could best serve you by just starting off doing one thing for you. Okay, and then we just start and try to do one thing for you really, really well. Like I don't want to interfere with what you do with Titan. I'm sure they're great and everything. I know that.
That's another great thing to a selling point. A lot of people buy products and services because they want to save time. Okay, because so if you are the solution, if you are the company that can save a business time or business owner time or a customer a lot of time, whether that be they don't have to do all the research, they don't have to do the test runs, they don't have to do trial and error, because our company has dealt with other companies similar to your situation, and we created a model that works regardless of what industry you're in. We've tested it, dozens and dozens of times with these other companies. Therefore, we're going to help you save a lot of time because you don't have to figure that out yourself. Much like our coaching program, right? Our coaching program where we teach people how to do lead generation, we're going to save you a lot of time because you don't have to go figure that out on your own. We created a process, a model that's going to work for you. And you don't have to go figure it out on your own.
They're a very good, reputable company. Respect them. But we specify in something that's a little bit different. And one of the first things I'd love to try is take a look at exactly what you're doing with your commodities, the hedging strategies, and the currency stuff. With the stuff you're doing both in Singapore, Hong Kong, and China. Okay, and I want to get in there straight away, and I want to go in there and give me a shot to beat it. But let me work. Give me 30 days. I'll do my trade small. Start small. Don't stop what you're doing. Put a small amount of your trades through me, and then analyze in 30 days the percentage gain. And if I'm even half as good as I say I believe, you'll be moving all your business over to me after that. That sound fair enough?
Well, I mean, I'm not particularly worried about where we're at.
That's Jordan's. That's one of Jordan's like go-to lines. Like, does that sound fair enough? You end that with a tonality of upturn in tonality. Sound fair enough instead of sound fair enough. Like that sounds kind of demanding, but sound fair enough it makes it more like lighthearted. Like, yeah, I'm certain. Like, let's do this. Yeah, like I said at the beginning, like he's like, yeah, let me prove myself with this first project, and then once I prove myself, we can go on and do much bigger things. So like he's kind of in essence making the vision bigger, like his purpose bigger than just getting this one sale.
In that space. So what particularly would you want to be doing?
Well, let me ask you a question. First of all, does the overall idea in terms of of us advising not just in one area, but all areas make sense to you that it could be an asset over the long? Does that appeal to you?
Well, I guess it certainly does. It just depends.
So that's also a move that I learned from Jordan Belfort. It's called looping. Is if you go for the closing line and you go sound fair enough, and they go well, and they still kind of like are not with it, and they're kind of questioning it. The easiest like loop you can do is, you kind of stop, like listen to what they're saying, but you go, well, let me ask you a question. Like, does everything that I just said, does that make sense to you? You kind of get them to start saying yes again to you by going back and saying, this is why it's called creating a loop. You go back and say, hey, does everything that I said make sense to you?
Depends on what it's going to cost us.
Right, exactly. And of course, always in the end comes down to, but it's not just so much cost, it's also the value you get for the cost, right?
Because oftentimes, like, people don't want to be like hard pressure into sales. You want to make them understand like it was their idea. So you have to remind them that like the whole business or the product or service that I just described to you, does it make sense or not? And if the client says yes, then it's like, okay, if it makes sense and you believe that it can change your life, then we can kind of narrow down our focus into what is stopping you from moving forward today.
But one of the things we pride ourselves.
But you have to get that verbal confirmation that they get what you're offering and they like it and they believe that it can change their life and their business. At least get that verbal commitment before you start pressing her further.
Ourselves on, okay, just it's a company. And the true beauty of what we do is that every transaction that we do here, okay, we're looking always at two things. A, to keep costs down as much as possible. Whether it's brokerage, hedging, helping you purchase an asset you didn't think you could afford, helping you expand into a market, going public perhaps, okay, getting a bridge loan in a foreign market. Of course, we always look at cost, okay, but we also look at 3 to 5 years down the road, okay, because sometimes the cheapest money is not the best money. So of course, we'll weigh both options out to you. I'll say, listen, you can do it this way and save yourself, 3 basis points, or you can maybe pay 2 basis points more, but you'll be in alliance with the top people in China, okay? That'll be more flexible with terms, and also allow you to grow, facilitate you grow to where exactly, this is not going to be a $50 million company forever, obviously it's going to be a $250 million company, so we look at both the short-term and long. That makes sense to you? Do you like that program?
I mean, look, in theory it sounds good, but I mean, at the end of the day, it sounds like you deal with a lot of big companies, and we're not a huge company. It's a pretty simple business model actually. So I'm just wondering if it's all a bit too much or too complex for us.
Right,
We've run it pretty successfully in the past by following a pretty simple model.
Right.
So yeah, I'm just not sure.
Well, let me say this. I hear what you're saying, and I like to pride myself on being a guy that takes medium-sized companies and turns them into big companies, and that's really how we make our money. All big companies once were medium-sized, and once small companies, right? Yeah. And the same dynamic.
So if you did a good enough job at the beginning of the call to display that you're an expert and you know what you're doing, and your company has good, solid reputation, you have a great product and service, the prospect will make the sales a lot easier on you. They will give you all the objections in terms of not objections in the sense that like they want to reject you, but just further questions that they have, certain uncertainties that they have, and this is what the prospect is telling Jordan right now. We're a small company, like we don't know if we're like big enough to handle all the complexity. So it's like a layup, right? Like they're literally telling you exactly what is holding them back, and it's up to Jordan to kind of expertly maneuver through that. But if you know your product through and through, like, and you've kind of done your reps, like this should be pretty easy to do.
Dynamics that apply to a business at your size. It's no different for a $50 million or $500 million company. Yeah. It's a different way.
Whatever product you're selling, you should make a list of like all the objections that you could possibly get. I mean, there could be around 15, 20, for example, in local lead generation, of different objections that business owners might have, and you should have a rebuttal for each of those objections ready.
Thinking, and I think in some levels, and listen, that's why I said to you, I'm not looking to interfere with relationships that you have right now, because I think that smart business person, you guys are obviously smart, you know what you do well, right? To throw the baby out with the bathwater would be ridiculous. Why if I came in saying, fire this guy, I don't want that, okay? What I want to be is the guy, I don't want to be the guy that took you from 0 to 50, I have those people. I want to be the guy that takes you from 50 to 500 million. And in that area, I know I could be a major asset to you, because we can do for you besides, anyone trading commodities and over the long term in the way of taking you public, finding you bond financing and notes that you need for overseas transactions. We can be an asset to your company.
You can minimize the prospects' kind of like concerns and worries by like just making it small. Like this first project is gonna be nothing compared to what I can bring for you long term.
Over the long term, and I just personally without myself, I pride myself on holding my clients' hands every step of the way. I deal, from Mary, only on referral. I'm not a cold calling machine. Okay, it's all long term relationships, and I know this. I'm going to be judged basically on one trade. If I say, hey, let's do some business together, give me a shot for 30 days, and I'm wrong and I stink, you'll fire me as one of your bro. We'll never speak again. We'll shake hands. Hey, it didn't work, and that's that, right? And just my commission on 30 days of business, and this is I just stood with the firm and the government. I can't take my wife out for lunch in Australia. I'm not getting rich.
So these are classic Jordan Belfort lines. It's he's now selling himself. It's not just selling your product, your company, but you have to sell yourself, right? That you are a person of high integrity. You work based off of performance, not just trying to get the sale and I never talk to you again. Like we're going to form a long-term relationship, and I don't even get paid that much on this first sale. It's the long-term relationship where I actually make my money. So these are all things that Jordan has to sell himself as a salesperson to display that he's not just a sharky salesperson that's just here for one commission. He's here for the long term, and he is held accountable to the performance of what he's promising. So this is more for salespeople that are working for other companies, and you are on a commission basis. You have to sell yourself, and that you're not just the average salesperson that's just gonna tell the prospect everything that they want to hear, and once the sale is closed, they're out of their life.
Okay, but I know this. If you see what I could do for you in 1 month, just small, I'm not going to get rich report, but the percentage gain. Okay, you'll see you have a broker that's going to work for you, harder for you, more diligent than anyone ever has. And all I ask is that then, down the road, when I really kind of get into your business and see the bigger opportunities, you give me a shot bigger and better down the road. But that's not fair enough?
What do you think is possible in 30 days? I mean, how much can you do in a month?
Not a question of money, it's a question of percentage savings. In other words, listen, let me ask you a question. Right now, how much are you probably hedging on a monthly basis right now?
I'm not sure on a monthly basis. We're about 77% of our, mid 70% of our debt is unhedged.
Okay.
So I think that means about 22 million of our overall debt is hedged.
22 million is hedged annually.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have about 20 million. That's so you said how much unhedged? About 70% is hedged.
No, unhedged.
Unhedged.
Yeah.
Okay, so about 22 million is hedged.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, great. Okay, so you have about 35 or 40 million unhedged, correct?
No, we've got about 150 million that's unhedged.
I thought you were
No, we've got it in terms of our debt.
What's the revenue?
What's our revenue?
I'm talking the
Right.
revenue.
Sorry.
This is this is one of the best ways to make a logical case in sales, is to break it down in numbers. So let's say if my service was to able to bring in 5 more clients every month, right? Let's say I'm selling lead gen. What would each client be worth to you? Okay, they'll give you a number. Okay, or you can even ask for what's the average cost of each job, right? And what's your profit margin on that? Okay, you get the number. So if I bring at least 5 more new clients every month, what would that do to your bottom line? Well, they're gonna have that number, right? So it might be, it might increase their net profits by $5,000 with 5 more clients. So it's like, hey, all I have to do is bring you, 5 more clients or whatever, 2 more clients every month, and my service has already paid for itself, right? So when you can break it down in numbers, you are helping the prospect make a more logical case as to how affordable your service is. But that's the worst case scenario. If I was able to bring in 10 more clients, what would that do to your bottom line? What would that do to your business? What would that allow you to do? Will it allow you to hire more people so you can spend more time with your family and kids? Then you can transition the logical into more emotional. What would that do? Like being able to go on more vacations with your family, these kind of things. Now you're intertwining logical case and emotional case together at the end.
This year just gone 27 million.
Okay, right. That's what I
27.5 million year just
So
gone.
here's the thing. I look at that just so you know. Okay,
Yeah.
one of the things that a lot of people overlook is that the day-to-day foreign currency exchanges that occur in what you're doing in China and when it comes back to here and vice versa, Singapore, Hong Kong, the biggest, I wouldn't say fraud, but let's say the biggest way for you to get clipped as a businessman is in the foreign currency markets. It's the Wild West there, okay? And what we do, okay, is we'll sit you with cost of money. In other words, we don't mark up our trades. We're going to basically buy and sell your money for you on the exchange in real time, okay? And the amount of money that saves for you, percentage-wise, is staggering. Now, again, I'm not saying you're going to make 10 million extra on your bottom line, but what it will show you, on a very riskless way, it allows me to show you that when you say, hey, I'm doing it this way right now, and this guy came in with a very small transaction and showed me I could save literally 30-40% more annually on this amount of money, that just shows you I'm a guy that knows what I'm doing. And after that, once I kind of earn your trust, then let's kind of talk bigger and better, where I can really save you bigger money down the road. You could use that as a benchmark for future business. All that's for this. One shot. Okay, let me just run 30 days hedging your money, show you how you can kind of navigate through the currency markets here in a more effective, elegant way, and believe you'll be very, very impressed.
It's always good to do like give a strict timeline of like when the prospect can see the results. That's always a great thing to add. So in lead generation or digital marketing, I usually like to say 3 months. Like I need at least 3 months to prove that I'm the real deal. But each month I'm going to show you exactly what I'm doing. In 3 months, we can really decide, whether you want to keep paying me or not. Or sometimes you can even go up to 6 months. But we will assess where we're at in 3 months or 6 months, depending on what project, depending on whether you're selling lead generation or like SEO. Slightly different there, but you want to give that strict timeline, and you want to promise that you're going to be results oriented, and you're going to be judged and judged based on your performance and results. Another line I like to say is like, at the end of the day, like I don't make money unless you make money, and so I'm trying to create a win-win relationship with my clients.
Yeah, look, I mean, it sounds promising. I guess I'm just a little bit cautious. I don't know anything about your company. I don't know if you know this, but the farming industry is built very heavily on trust and loyalty. The banking relationship I have now has been built over many years, plus legacy through the family. A lot of farmers get involved with new banks and new organisations, and they're with them through the good times, and then they ditch them through the bad times. So I don't know anything about you guys.
Let me ask you a question, honestly. If I've been your broker for the last 3 or 4 years, making you guys money on a consistent basis. I mean, let's say I ran, a couple years of hedging strategies for you, did some bond offerings for you, and kind of just did everything exactly right. You probably wouldn't be saying, let me take you back, man. You take just take over hedging. Am I right about that?
Look, if we had a relationship, yeah.
Of course, I get that. You don't know me, and I don't have the track record. So let me just reintroduce myself to you a little bit.
So yeah, the prospect brought up the objection. Hey, I don't really know about your company that well, and so you need a strong rebuttal for that.
Telling about myself, what I stand for, I'm an insurer in Belfort, and I've been with LMK for about 6 years now, okay? And I'm one of the top salesmen at the company, and I am a salesman, by the way. I pride myself on actually going out there and going after the people that I know I can help, okay? But one thing I do is I put my clients' needs above everything else, and I work literally round the clock tirelessly. I'm not an analyst, I'm not an investment banker, okay, but I literally will go at it like I'm like a researcher of these people, and I will find the absolute best person in my stable. We have again, I said 3 areas of excellence, right? Banking, finance, and asset management, right? I will literally go and comb 3,500 employees to find the exact person that knows your business well, the exact program that best.
Notice like how Jordan like speaks with such authority and certainty, right? This is coming from somebody that's been doing sales for a very long time, but you can still master this tonality in a relatively short amount of time if you know your product really, really well. And in digital marketing, you're gonna become confident. Each client that you get, you're gonna build this certainty, and that's essentially all the prospect is wanting to hear from you when they give you these objections. It's almost like a smoke screen. It's almost like a shit test. Like, hey, like I don't know you. What is your company about? All they are wanting to hear from you is to respond to those kind of objections in a very confident way. And as long as you're able to do that, you can pass these kind of shit tests with flying colors. But remember, it's all about certainty, your tonality, how confident you sound.
Fits your needs, and I keep it simple. I'm here to not just push you into any program, but to hold your hand every step of the way, guide you in, guide you out, okay, a phone call away. And as far as LMK goes, again, long-term relationships, that's all we've built them. We're I think the oldest or second oldest merchant bank in all of Australia, in business since 1886. So obviously we didn't get to where we are by burning our clients, okay, and we didn't get there by working on 15.
Obviously you're gonna have your own story around this, like, hey, we have this client in this state, this is what we did for that client. We have this client in another state, and this is what we did. I mean, it's not necessary, but if you're not too confident, then you can even be like, hey, I have references. You can even call these business owners that I'm doing lead generation for, and they'll tell you themselves how great I am at what I do. But it's really, again, with reps and with actually having experience like doing lead gen, like you're gonna have that confidence in the ending part of these kind of calls when they give you these kind of shit tests.
30-day trials here, okay, and then saying see you later. Obviously, we have earned our clients' trust by being right, by being diligent, by not risking their money, okay, and by also being there when there is a problem. So again, all I'm asking for is this. I mean, let me put it this way. What's the worst that can happen? Let's just say that I'm wrong, right? Let's say you give me a month, okay, and you hedge, we run $5 or $10 billion through a hedging strategy here, okay, and let's say at the end of the day you don't make any more money. Let's say you lose 1 basis point on the whole, and I'm wrong. You say, Jordan, you just pulled it, didn't work, and you fire me. Is that going to put you in the poorhouse of the company, honestly?
Look, probably not. I don't have to see the numbers, but
it's not going to kill you, right? Right. And on the upside, let's say I am right, which I know I am, okay, and I can show you a 25% return, and you're like, Jesus Christ, this guy actually saved me, $27,000 on a small amount of money. It's not going to make you the richest company in Australia, right? Right. Not going to make you rich, not going to make you poor. What it will do, it will serve as a benchmark for future business, and then you'll know you have a guy who knows what he's doing, okay? And
so he's minimizing the risk there. What I like to do with lead gen is like, hey, worst case scenario, like you break even the first few months while my site is ranking. Because at the worst case scenario, like I'm gonna send you some leads at the worst case scenario. So that's what I like to do. I don't like, small business owners are a lot more frugal with their money. So I don't like to tell them like worst case scenario, they're gonna lose a little bit of money like with me or anything like that. I like to say, hey, worst case scenario, like you might break even in the first few months.
And from there, we can work bigger and better down the road. So all I'm asking for again is this: one shot, give me 30 days, okay? If I'm wrong, you fire me as your broker, okay? But if I'm right, not only am I going to want you to do bigger and better, I'll offer some referrals too, because that's my business truly grows. Does that sound fair enough? Give me a shot.
So look, it sounds interesting. Here's my concern.
Okay.
So we go into business. Who else am I going to deal with? You're a big company. Am I going to always get you each time?
By the way, I've used that closing line myself. Like, does that sound fair enough? Like, I can do this. I can, and then does that sound fair enough? Give me one shot.
I mean, you're going to bring another product specialist. I feel trusted. I know it's like with bigger banks. That's why we prefer to keep with a small.
But you can say how does that sound?
There's
other ways to say it, but
I don't want that hassle.
No, I totally get that. And by the way, just LMK is interesting for one sense, but we are a big bank. But we're not an ANZ or an NAB where it's so ridiculous and impersonal, okay? Where it's like, you bring 1,000 faces and the customers, you call the recording up and like press 1, oh yeah, we can call you between 12 and 12:01, right? It's not that, right? We're a merchant bank and it's a bit different, which is more like a family banking model, which is why I really believe it fits so well with your business model, the organics, right? Because we are an older line. We start off in fact in the cattle. We actually start off in commodities. That's why we built our business around commodities.
That's one of a great way of adding intangible value for yourself and your company is to let them know that like you're not dealing with a big marketing firm or company. You're going to be dealing with me, like personally. You're going to have my personal cell phone. Like, business owners love to know that they have direct access to you, and it's going to be a more hands-on kind of service.
And from there we went to that, and as a result of the hedging. So that's why we're the number one company about hedging and commodities, which is why I think it's a perfect fit. But in terms of me, you'll only be dealing with me. And if there's someone else I want you to meet, they'll be with me. In other words, if I say I got the guy who's has a new algorithm that's going to allow us to make an extra 7 basis points a month on the turn, I'm not going to say, hey, the guys come with me. I'll have them come with me, or we can have dinner, whatever it might be. But it's not going to be 30 faces. There's going to be me and only someone else if I believe that person, can help with the conversation. But if you only want to meet me, hey, we can just be the two of us. But again, all I'm asking for is this. I'm asking to get married right now. Okay, I believe in starting small, because I know I can prove myself to you. Now, if I was here saying to you, I want all your business firefight and do this, do that, right? You'd say, get the fuck out of here, right? Okay, but I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that I'm confident if you just see a little bit of what I could do, we can use that as a benchmark to go forward. So again, I'm asking for one shot, 30 days, and believe me, you're going to be a client for life. Sound fair enough?
Look, I have to say the numbers, but it sounds reasonable.
Perfect. So let's open up the account now. There you go. Okay?
I was going to go back.
I was
That's a class.
Yeah, so classic sales call by Jordan. He showed all the classic rebuttal moves there to his objections. So you can use a lot of this in the local lead generation sales, but yeah, I think the biggest thing one should take away from this is what can separate you, your company, and you as a salesperson from everybody else is to convince and let the prospect know that you're not just your average salesperson who's just trying to get a one-time commission here. Like, you are based on performance. And so this is what allowed my lead generation company to get a lot of the sales in my mind, because I always framed myself and my company as performance based, And yes, if you're doing active sales, you're gonna need to ask for some contracts and some money up front. But I always circled back to, hey, if I truly didn't know what I was doing, I would not be having this in the contract where in 3 months we're gonna check for performance, and we will only continue to move forward if I'm able to prove myself that I'm generating leads for you. That's why every lead is going to be tracked with a tracking phone number. And what you dealt with in the past with other marketing companies is they never track the leads for you. So you spent 4 or 5 months paying them, and they only generated 1 to 2 leads, right? So it's that's not going to be the case with me, because I'm not trying to make money off of this first 3, 4, 5, 6 months deal. Most of that money is going to be reinvested back into building other lead gen properties and other websites. So I'm not really going to make money off of the first 5, 6 months. I'm going to make money in the long term when I actually rank the websites and I'm generating, 200 new phone calls each and every month for you. That's when I'm actually going to be profitable. So this is why I'm different from all the other marketers, because I am on performance based, and I only get paid when you get paid. So by reframing the sales in that way, that I assure the business owner that I don't win if they don't win, it really separated me from other marketers that these small business owners have talked to. And this is what Jordan has done throughout this call as well. He let the prospect know that, hey, I'm not asking you to fire everybody and sign a big contract with me here today. I'm only asking you to do a smaller project, a small trial, so I can prove myself to you in 30 days. So it's not going for the enormous close, or you kind of minimizing the risk for the business owner. All I'm asking you is to give me one shot, 30 days, or whatever that might be, right? 3 months. I think that's really important to understand, is sometimes you don't want to go for the marriage right away, right? Sometimes, you meet a girl and you want to take them out on dates. You have to warm that prospect, that client up to you. And that sometimes starts with starting the relationship on a smaller scale. So always understand that. I think a lot of salespeople can sometimes shoot themselves in the foot because they're trying to go for the big enchilada right out of the gate. Don't be afraid to show some results in advance at first as well. Especially when you're dealing with, like, you sense that this company is legit and they're a solid company. Don't be afraid to like run some AdWords on AdWords a little bit to send some free leads to really prove yourself, because it is worth it. Like, one big client can change your life essentially. One big client can pay you for a really good money for years and years to come. So don't be afraid to put in some extra effort to show some results in advance, prove yourself at first, provide results without asking to get paid, work for free and build a website for them. Do something that's valuable to the company up front for them. These are different things you can do to really separate yourself from everybody else in the marketplace. And this is what's going to allow you to get a really big client or a really awesome client. So I will see you guys in the next video. In the link in the description, if you are interested, if you're somebody that's in sales or doing sales, I highly recommend checking out the lead generation business model. This is a business model where it allows you to not only excel your skills in sales, but every sale that you get turns into a long-term monthly paying client. So in my opinion, instead of selling for other people and other companies, when you can sell your own products, get your own clients, then you can really start scaling your income.